Hi, and welcome to April 2025. So, how are you doing? Because wow, was March ever intense? And we're actually still in the energies a little bit. We'll be in Mercury retrograde until April 7th, and we will be in Venus retrograde until April 12th. And then we'll be in the post shadow for a little bit after that. But we will have the energies of the forward moving after that first second week of April to start to feel the energy starting to flow definitely differently for us in this month of April. And are going to be able to just really start to integrate what we've gained, all the nuggets of wisdom and awareness and insights and deeper understanding and healing that's just happened through the eclipse season too. So we're going to have a chance to slow down and really, well, continue to slow down. We're still being asked to slow down, but this will be a different kind of experience or a different theme because we're going to start to integrate a little bit differently because the energies are going to be just different in the sense that the retrograde energies when they're unearthing, when they're in the underworld, they're extracting information to bring up to our conscious mind. So when they go back direct, it gives us an opportunity now to integrate it differently and just really we have this new understanding that we didn't have before, and that's the gift of the retrograde. And with the Venus and the Mercury together, it's really, been asking us, what does our heart want? What does our mind want? What are we really ready to let go of? And that's the eclipses. The eclipses just came in and just really purging through and cleaning and cleansing out energies, beliefs, patterns, things that just really were no longer serving. So moving forward into April, we're dealing with the numbers still of 9, the collective number of 9, but we're also for month of April dealing with 13-4. So how the 4 energy works is it asks us to slow down and look at things from a different perspective. It can create barriers or perceived or real obstacles, limitations, or detours. And when that happens, it's so that we can actually take a step back so we can see something from a different perspective we previously wouldn't have been able to see. And when we can see something from a different perspective, we grow from that. We can shift consciousness, or we can have a new developed understanding or an awareness that we previously didn't have from our just maybe more limited view, or understanding that we were perceiving something from. So the 4 comes in and says, I'm going to bring you to a threshold, and that threshold is helping to see something differently, details you wouldn't have otherwise seen, or just, again, a new way to do something. 4 represents structure. It represents how things have come to be. So with the 13 at play, the 13 is asking us to really recognize cause and effect. So we've got this 9 energy asking us to review our past. How did we get here? And remember, this is more of the global world stage essence, but it will also be felt in our own personal, along with our own personal numerological cycle that we're in too. So this is kind of both what we'll see potentially on the collective and then what we'll see individually. So the 13 is a bit enhanced because it's a significant number. So it's saying, what has been the cause and effect? So we've acted in a specific way. 9 saying, how do we get here? Let's review our history. Let's review our past. And let's look at where we're at now so that we can see something differently and we can create new changes. We can create new solutions, apply new methods. And that's the gift of this 13-4 is it's saying, we're going to actually start to really be able to see what the real issues and the real problems are so that we can have a newfound clarity. And with that clarity, we can start to approach it differently. It said we cannot solve a problem from the same consciousness, effort, energy, or approach that a problem began with and was created in. And that's what this month is asking us and going to be providing opportunity for us, both individually and as well collectively. Because we're going to be asked to look at our own individual actions. Where have we acted before and where has that got us now? What are we experiencing now that may feel like, this is no longer serving me, or this is not allowing me to express myself, be in my sovereignty, be loving, or be able to shine or express myself in the world the way I want to. Collectively, we're going to be asked to look at what are the problems that we're facing? Why are we facing these problems? Can we start to individually applying our own gifts, abilities, and talents, as well as come together collectively and start to really, come with a new sense of compassion and care so that we can really start to create the changes that we want to see. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting month in that way, because we still, we're the first part of the month, we're still dealing with these retrograde energies. We've got these 4 energies saying we're going to start to see these problems, which means some things might be in our face a little bit more. They've already been, in our face those last couple months. Things on the collective have been building and heating up, and that's not going away anytime soon. So this month potentially could be a bit of a peak in that sense, where we actually get to start to see things from a different perspective and see what the real problems are so that we can approach it differently. So this is a great month to really practice critical thinking. The 4 asks us to be able to, again, pause so that we can reflect on what's happening, reflect on how we're feeling, take a minute, move some energy if we need to, and then ask ourselves calmly and from that collective, calm perspective, how do I want to respond here? So we might have some reactivity that we're dealing with or have been dealing with. So it could be, okay, I need to take a minute first and ask, why have I been reactive, and what can I do to start to move that energy so that I can start to respond with more critical thinking, with more neutrality, with more of a possibility to and potential to be able to see things from these different perspectives. So the 4, is really about, it's a catalytic number. It's a breakthrough number, and it does so again from this feeling sometimes like we don't have a say in something, or we're blocked in some way, or we don't know where to go, we don't know which way to turn. So the gift of the 4, which sometimes we can't even understand or see fully the gift of the 4 energy until we're actually on the other side of it. Because if we know how to work with the 4, it's powerful because it's so catalytic. But that's what it's asking. It's asking us to step back, and then how can I see this from a different perspective so that I can build something new, so I can approach and problem solve from a different way, so that I can create a new structure within myself or contribute to creating something more in the outer. Now the 4, especially the 13, represents power of the word as well. So how are we using our word? What are we speaking into existence? There's a lot of heated response happening in the collective right now. And in that, there's a lot of potential grief coming up, grief rage coming up, anger coming up, injustice coming up, helplessness coming up. And so, everything that anybody's feeling, that's everybody's right to feel. That absolutely needs to be honored and holding space for us in whatever we feel. And then we want to ask, how am I responding? Am I able to come back and be responsible for my word? Am I responsible for what I'm contributing and I'm expressing out? And that 4 is going to help us to do that this month. It's going to help us to step back and say, after I've taken a minute and been able to pause for a second and then ask, okay, so how do I want to contribute? And what do I need to do first, maybe to get myself into check, into alignment, so that I can do that, coming back into my heart and acknowledging I maybe don't know what's next, and I don't know what's happening, or I don't know and don't understand maybe, and maybe definitely don't agree with what's happening. Still, our power lies in coming back into that present moment and coming back into our own personal alignment. So power of the word, what are we speaking into existence? And what are our thoughts? What thoughts, are we giving energy to? What are our thought patterns? The other thing with the 4, because it's connected to our thoughts, our thinking, what thought forms am I also being potentially connected with? There's a lot of powerful thought forms going on right now because there's such charge with people individually and then on the collective. So those thought forms can be positive, or they can be, definitely not life-giving, life-serving. So not creating and cultivating more positive life-giving movement. So we want to kind of, again, check back. Where are my thoughts? Are these thoughts even mine? Am I giving too much energy to something and now I'm being influenced by a thought form as a result? So how can I just kind of come back in and calm my mind? So this could be a good month to repeat affirmations, good month to just really, really focus on that pause, inhale, pause, exhale, inhale, pause, exhale. What do I need to do just to come back into the present moment, get grounded and steady and center, so that I can take a step back and look at things from a different perspective? A great thing, potentially to do with this number to see things from different perspectives, because that's not always easy, especially when we're charged, when we're triggered, or when we are just really fearful, or just really feeling, just emotionally tumultuous and intense. So sometimes just writing something out, how can I see this from a different perspective? Or, if I look at this, or even asking spirit, help me to see this from a different perspective. Help me to see this from a different view than I'm currently seeing. But sometimes writing that out, and or looking at it like, if I, a third person looking down on the situation, what potentially could be another option of this, or what would be creating this particular behavior? Is there something I'm not potentially seeing yet or understanding yet? Am I responding from my own programming potentially, or my own fears, my own insecurities, my own beliefs? This is a great month, again, to, for ourselves to look at that and really ask, what's my why here? And what's my cause and effect, and how am I contributing? Not only have I landed here, but moving forward, how do I want to impact, and how do I want to express, and what do I want my contribution to be, without bypassing and, dishonoring what we're feeling. That's very important, that we're really allowing ourselves to just be in the process that we're in, and to be, going through what we need to go through in the most gentle, loving, and compassionate way. The four, one final thing too, the four is asking us to really look at where we feel not just only personally limited, but maybe where our own limited beliefs are affecting us too. So the four is asking us additionally to look at, where am I maybe giving up? And that's a 13-4. The 13-4 is saying, do not give up. This is, may feel like giving up. So what do we need to do to kind of get some wind back, in our wings? What do we need to do to feel re-inspired? And sometimes that's taking a pause, literally taking a break from media, taking a break from social media, taking a break from people that just, need to talk about things a lot. And how is that making you feel? So sometimes we actually need to take a break so we can get in our own energy field and really get to the sense of, okay, so what am I really feeling? And what really resonates with me? That's part of that critical thinking, be able to just kind of step out of sometimes that charged energy, outer and inner, and being able to say, like, okay, so how do I really feel about this? Does this really resonate with me? Do I understand what's happening? Do I not understand what's happening? And how's that making me feel? Just starting to kind of, again, look at things from a little bit of a just more neutral perspective. Where are we being lazy about something? Where are we really not caring, being indifferent? Where have we contributed to racism, to indifference, to harm in some way, without judging? We want to transcend that judgment, and that's the four is asking us to. That's that catalytic breakthrough opportunity this four really shows up for us with and supports us with, is, how do I break that judgment? How do I break and step out of that polarity? And that's the gift of the four. When we start to see things from other perspectives, it births that quality of understanding. And when we can have understanding, that doesn't mean we agree with everything. That doesn't mean we still don't want to be an activist towards something. It means that we are coming from a place of understanding, which gives us the ability to come from a place of minimum neutrality, and then we can start to come from a place of compassion, so we can still hold dignity for all human life, for all humanity, and without, kind of contributing back with potential anger, or with potential, kind of that injustice energy. So that's the flex this month, is how do we kind of navigate through these very tumultuous energies and times, and keep trying to transcend that polarity with being honest with how we're feeling, so that we can kind of keep transcending that, and really asking ourselves, how do I want to contribute, and getting clear again. And that's, again, what we've just gone through in March, which will become more and more clear for us, the gifts of what we've just gone through in March, with that newfound clarity that will come through for us. We'll start to have a newfound clarity, potentially inspired, motivation and enthusiasm to start to do things differently. And even if that's on our own personal, kind of quiet life, or it's something that we want to start to do even more out there in a bigger way on the world stage and the platform. It all matters, and it's all so effective and so impactful. So whatever we are called personally to do is our own personal, kind of inspiration. It's our flame that we are here to offer at this time. And it doesn't mean it has to be something really big, and not to worry if it looks different than what somebody else is doing. It's really about, finding our own purpose and finding our own inspiration. And our purpose is that. Our purpose is, our own inspiration and how we really feel we want to hold alignment with and how we want to contribute. And again, most powerful thing is our alignment, our frequency. We're in the era of frequencies. So that's also about what frequency am I holding? And this month with that 13-4 energy, we'll have an opportunity to potentially really get more clear on that, and but also refine it, and even potentially come into a new level of mastery with it. All right, so wishing you just a really beautiful, gentle, loving, and empowering month, and wishing you just a very happy spring if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And I think that will help us a lot. We're going into, more light now, and we're going into the new birthing, re-energize. That just gives us hope right in and of itself. So breathe, invitation for us, breathe, be in nature, and take gentle, loving care, and have a great month. Namaste.